Today is the next stage in the struggle in the Sejm. In December, the Speaker of the Sejm, Hołownia, ended the mandates of opposition MPs Mariusz Kamiński and Maciej Wąsik, who were then sent to prison despite having been pardoned by the President. They were released after a further presidential pardon. According to the opposition, the actions of Speaker Hołownia are contrary to the law, and both MPs tried to enter the Sejm today. The Sejm authorities ordered the Marshal's Guard not to let them in. Opposition politicians stated that this was contrary to applicable law, the presidential pardon from 2015 and the Supreme Court's judgments. As announced, Mariusz Kamiński and Maciej Wąsik came to work today, that is, to the Sejm. However, after Szymon Hołownia's decision, the Marshal's Guard prevented them from entering. The officers' responsibility is to carry out orders, i.e. to secure the Sejm. On what decision do you claim that Messrs Kamiński and Wąsik are not MPs? I cordially invite you, gentlemen. I'm not standing here to lecture you on the law. Well, yes, it's hard to find an explanation for disregarding parliamentary mandates. I saw fear, Mr. Hołownia's fear of the two MPs who came today to perform their duties in accordance with the law. However, Tusk's coalition wants to present Law and Justice MPs as brawlers, hence such scenes today in front of the Sejm. Resocialization was ineffective simply because there is no place in the Assembly for criminals, even if they have been pardoned, and as MPs, we do not want such people to sit in the parliamentary chamber. The only thing that determines who sits on the same benches is not the wishes of MPs, but the law and the Constitution. And in accordance with the law, Mariusz Kamiński and Maciej Wąsik were elected by nearly 70,000 Poles as members of the Sejm. MPs Kamiński and Wąsik had to come to the Sejm today because, as they announced, they showed up for duty. They have a mandate. They were chosen by voters. They could not come. But despite this, Speaker Hołownia ignored the law and the voices that argued the MPs Kamiński and Wąsik be allowed to perform normal parliamentary work. Yes, I suggested it to the Speaker of the Sejm that if he decided to act in accordance with the rule of law, that is, the Supreme Court recognized the appeal, end of story, then the case would be closed. We would not have to meet. Of course, those who wanted to oppress these MPs and non-MPs would not be satisfied symbolically and politically. That's what it's all about. This oppression has nothing to do with law or democracy. There is no place in the Sejm for political hooliganism, brawls and attempts to desecrate the uniform of the Marshal's Guard. You are once again breaking the law by not allowing the MPs to perform their mandates. You are being used by Donald Tusk as a bumper, but this does not justify your behaviour. Tusk's coalition is trying to claim that it was Law and Justice MPs who attacked the Marshal's Guard. Law and Justice, so to speak, equip the Marshal's Guard with the principles of maintaining direct coercion for themselves. That's why the Marshal's Guard behaved properly. Do you enjoy such scenes? No, they are not entertaining. But it is not us, not the Marshal's Guard, who is the author of such scenes. This is a problem of law and justice. This is nonsense, according to party chairman Jarosław Kaczyński. The fact that your journalists, followed us, and therefore the other MPs gathered here, were also a little confused and also followed, led to everything that was happening here. It was not our goal. The chairman of Law and Justice announced a case against Szymon Hołownia, who ordered the Marshal's Guard not to allow MPs Wąsik and Kamiński to enter the Sejm. One of the officers confirmed in writing that Szymon Hołownia was responsible for what happened today. We needed this document for procedural reading. So I'll do that again. We needed this document for procedural reasons because the government of the 13th of December will not be forever, and the matter of settling liability will not go unpunished. As a result of Mr. Hołownia's illegal, unlawful, criminal, and I say this consciously, criminal actions, something was undoubtedly harmful to the functioning of the state in a democratic way. They came to work today. Donald Tusk, as you can see, has more important matters than ruling the country. He prefers to be on vacation in the Italian Dolomites. Shouldn't the Prime Minister be at work? Wąsik and Kamiński violated their inviolability again. But shouldn't Donald Tusk take responsibility for what is happening? Mariusz Kamiński and Maciej Wąsik are responsible. Did Donald Tusk chicken out and run away? Kamiński and Wąsik are the cowards. They should be in prison. Mariusz Kamiński and Maciej Wąsik should sit, of course, I fully agree, but on the parliamentary benches and work for Poland as MPs, and no one should make it difficult for them. Adrian Borecki, Telewizja Republika.
Trwa spór polityczny.
There is a political dispute, not a legal one, and this is what constitutionalists are talking about in the case of Mariusz Kamiński and Maciej Wąsik, who were not allowed to enter the Polish parliament today. Why? And who is right in this dispute? This is what I'm checking today. Whatever you say, both gentlemen are full members of parliament because that's what the Supreme Court decided. The Marshal of the Sejm does not decide who is an MP. We are acting on the order of the Speaker of the Sejm, and we will let you in if we have such an order. The Marshal's Guard was ordered by the Marshal of the Sejm not to allow Mariusz Kamiński and Maciej Wąsik to enter the Sejm this morning. In the light of both the Constitution and the Electoral Code, it cannot be said that the parliamentarians are no longer MPs. However, Marshal Sejm Hołownia thinks otherwise. They will not participate in the same session as MPs, and there is no doubt about it. I said at the senior convention that nothing will change in this situation. Marshal Hołownia refers to the ruling of the Labour Chamber of the Supreme Court, although the Audit Chamber had previously confirmed, in accordance with its competences, that Wąsik and Kamiński were MPs. This is a crime against democracy. As a result of these illegal activities, the Sejm is sitting with an unconstitutional number of deputies. I would like to point out that so far as the National Electoral Commission has not indicated any candidates to take up parliamentary seats in our place. At the end of January, the National Electoral Commission asked for a legal basis on which the Speaker of the Sejm requested the expiration of the mandates. She did not name their successors. Article 26, paragraph 1 of the Act on the Supreme Court clearly states that the jurisdiction of the Chamber of Extraordinary Control on Public Affairs includes matters regarding which an appeal has been filed against the resolutions of the National Electoral Commission. The judgment is final and Mr. Marshall has nothing to say in this matter. Everything else is part of the coup d'etat we are dealing with in Poland. The decision of the Speaker of the Sejm, Sejm Hołownia, regarding the expiry of the mandate of Law and Justice MP Mariusz Kamiński was published in Monitor Polski, but illegally. Pursuant to the provisions of the Act, the decision is unambiguous. Namely, both men remain MPs, and there is no legal possibility to change that. The Marshal should allow both MPs to perform their duties. Marshal Hołownia is of the opinion that Law and Justice is practicing political hooliganism. This is a political problem. No one thinks about the political consequences. I'm thinking here about the government side. But why does the Speaker of the Sejm, a politician, choose the Chamber of the Supreme Court whose ruling he will respect? There is an obvious violation of the principle of legalism by state authorities. By going beyond the powers granted to them, they act contrary to the regulations, and this is exactly what the Marshal of the Sejm does. We have legal standards that have no effect. They come down to appearances, to fiction. And it could be even worse. The content of the resolution stating that 3 judges of the Constitutional Tribunal have not been sworn in according to the law has not yet been promulgated, but politicians have announced their adoption. This means moving away from the democratic system and switching to a non-democratic system. I will not look for a name for this system because it is something new, at least for now, because it is heading towards dictatorship. I want to emphasize very strongly that the fight Maciej and I are fighting is not our private matter. It is about the principles of functioning of democracy in our country. Today there is no law, only force. Unfortunately, we have to say this. Edyta Hołdyńska, Republika Television. President Andrzej Duda began a 2-day visit to Rwanda. The Polish head of state took part in the Polish-Rwandan Business Forum. President Duda discussed with the leader of Rwanda the tightening of economic partnership. Duda noted that Rwanda is a country that is developing very dynamically. There is a whole range of Polish companies on the Rwandan market, starting from Asseco, a leader in the field of cybersecurity and IT solutions, to small family businesses that have decided to invest in small businesses such as hotels and in the tourism industry. Poles are present. These particularly promising areas are energy, urban infrastructure, agricultural industry, machinery industry, equipment for the food industry, construction, crisis management and water resources management. We are also talking about education, including military education, to make Rwanda and its youth who want to defend their country in the event of an attack safer. We hope to develop defense industries.
Poland share strong bonds of friendship and collaboration for many years. The government of Poland has contributed directly to our country's development, and we are very grateful for this. A notable example is Poland's long-standing support to the School and Education Center for visually impaired children in Kijewo. The institute is bringing positive change in the lives of many, and that is not something we take for granted. I therefore thank you very much. Our partnership in the field of education has also yielded positive results. With the many Rwandan students studying in Polish universities.
He expressed the hope that the development opportunities for our entrepreneurs will be so attractive that they will be interested in cooperation. Trade exchange increased threefold in 2021 to 2023. Therefore, he added, the visit to Kigali is an excellent opportunity for business talks and signing memorandums on intergovernmental cooperation. President Duda has been in East Africa since Monday. His first visit was to Kenya. Several agreements were signed there, including those regarding tax cooperation and agriculture. Russia launched several waves of missile attacks on Kiev and other Ukrainian cities during the Wednesday morning rush hour, Ukrainian officials said, with falling debris from the downed weapons cutting off electricity to parts of the capital. Several waves of blasts rocked Kiev during the attack, the first in February, with air defense systems engaged in destroying the missiles, Kiev Mayor Vitaly Klitschko said on the Telegram messaging app. I saw on Telegram channels that the TU bomber jets took off, and I understood that the night wouldn't be calm. Around 4:30 we started getting ready and came here to the subway because we had to take shelter. We know what it is now and how it is going to be. It is not the first time, not the second time, or maybe the 10th. It has been happening for 2 years in our country. We are being shelled, we endure. This is not the worst that could happen. People on the front line have had it the worst. They have to fend off the invaders. We civilians will definitely endure. And the attack does not influence our will for victory. It does not break our spirit in any way. We will wait for victory. Such air attacks provoke our will for faster victory even more. They don't break our will in any way. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said 2 people had been killed in the Russian missile attack on the capital on Wednesday. All of Ukraine was under an air raid alert from 6 a.m., with Ukraine's Air Force warning on Telegram of a risk of Russian missile attacks across the country. In Kiev, people sheltered in the capital's underground subway. Ukraine's largest private energy company, DTEK, said Dniprovsky district was left partially without electricity. Klitschko said falling debris from a downed Russian missile damaged some power lines.